If you're a woman in your 40s, 50s and beyond, and have also gone through that divorce, heartbreak, or that quiet feeling of where did I lose her? This video might completely change the way you look at starting over, because I've been there. The grief, the confusion, the night staring up at the ceiling wondering, how did I end up here? You're doing everything people say you should. You're healing, you're staying busy, you're trying to move on, but somehow you're still stuck in the same emotional loop. You see, I know exactly how that feels. 3 days before Christmas, one call changed everything. My marriage had ended. The life I'd built, the stability, the identity, all collapsed overnight. And for the first time in decades, I had to ask myself, who am I without all of that? I tried doing everything people tell you to do after divorce. Be strong, move on, reinvent yourself. What I learned is this: you can't reinvent yourself on top of broken self-trust. Everything shifted when I stopped simply wanting to move on and I started rebuilding from within. What began as 2 simple steps, rebuilding your self-trust, regaining your self-confidence, evolved into something much deeper. A complete framework I now teach women I coach. It's called the Create Process, a 6-part framework to help you heal what's holding you back and step into a woman and a life that truly excites you. It's not about dating to be chosen. It's about dating and living as the woman who chooses herself first. So the first scene in the framework starts with clearing. And here you start freeing yourself from that which no longer aligns with you, from the resentment, from the guilt, from the anger, from the self-betrayal. You can't hold on to that which constantly weighs you down, and you can't build a new life on the ruins of old self-betrayal, because clearing isn't about blaming yourself. It's understanding and realizing that you too participated as a co-creator in your life. Because when you recognize how you participated, where you ignored your intuition, where you contorted, overgave, compromised yourself, you also reclaim the power to choose differently. And for me, this process started with something very simple, a physical decluttering. Once we had sold our family home, I started going through all the boxes, the photos, the memories, the keepsakes, and rather than holding on to them, I started a huge declutter. At first it hurt, but the more I cleared, the lighter I felt, and every drawer, every cupboard became a discarded reminder of one less emotional trigger in my space. And I started realizing that I was making room for new memories. I was making room for the new woman I was becoming, not the one of the past, the one of the future. And what clearing really is, a release of what's outdated so you can start moving forward and welcome what's next. Because when you start letting go, you're not losing. You're not losing at all. In fact, it's the opposite. You're creating space for a woman that you're becoming. Once you've started the emotional clear out and release, you can start moving forward to rebuilding self-trust and self-confidence. And the confidence I'm speaking about is not a beautiful post photo that you place, a facade that you place on Instagram. It's a calm knowing that you can rely upon yourself. You rebuild it one choice at a time, one boundary at a time, one truth telling at a time. And every time you follow through on your word to yourself, you strengthen that inner muscle of trust. When you take responsibility for your energy, your growth, your decisions, life starts responding very differently to you. And this is where you move from survival mode to self-leadership. You stop pretending to be strong. You embody strength. You stop waiting to be chosen, and you start choosing yourself every day. Next, you start moving into that woman, the woman you last beneath all the roles you play, and you start embracing your feminine energy. And this is where your flow begins. You become curious, you become playful, you become adventurous. You start feeling alive once again. You start reconnecting with your body, your intuition, your ease. For many of us, we've suppressed this over such a long period of time. I know, I'm completely guilty of it. We wore so many hats, played so many roles, found ourselves at the bottom of so many lists. Now it's time to start regaining that. You stop forcing outcomes and you start feeling into your alignment. At this stage, dating becomes your mirror, reflecting the woman you're becoming, showing you what lights you up, what drains you, your negotiables, your non-negotiables, and what you're ready to evolve into. You stop performing femininity and you start living it with ease and with warmth and with adventure. It's that feeling you get when learning to learn a new dance. And I know I've signed myself up for some tango dance classes. At first you start overthinking every step. Have I done it right? Have I done it wrong? And after a while, you just start allowing yourself to flow with the music. The adventure of dating isn't about finding somebody new. It's about rediscovering what makes you feel alive. Next, you start aligning with your true desires. And this is where clarity replaces confusion. You begin asking yourself questions like, what do I truly want? Not what does everybody else expect, or not what is safe, but what feels authentic to me. And it's not about who you attract. It's about what you create from the desires and truth, rather than contorting yourself and compromising yourself in order to make other people feel comfortable. Alignment is self-respect in motion. It's knowing your value, setting your standards, and choosing with intention and upholding it. I remember once sitting writing down a list of the man I wanted to manifest. And I'm not talking about the superficial, tall, dark, and handsome. I'm talking about the good stuff. Kindness, generosity, value, emotional intelligence, great communication. But just importantly, I also made a list of everything that I would bring. And when I eventually met him, I remember him sending me his list out of the blue. I didn't even ask for it. And he sent me a list of all the things that he was looking for in a relationship. And I remember looking back at this list thinking, wow, that's really interesting. But what exactly is it that you bring? He paused. A couple of days later, I received a list of everything he brought. And that moment told me everything I needed to know about him. Once you start understanding what alignment means to you and your truth, you get to thrive in your radiance. And this is where your inner work starts showing outwardly. You no longer chase, you attract through congruence. Your desires, your boundaries, your values are finally all in sync. Your energy introduces you before you even speak a word. I'm sure you've experienced that before, when a person walks into a room or a space and their energy is so magnetic, you're attracted to them before they even speak a word. And that's what I experienced with two of my girlfriends as well. Before even chatting to them, getting to know them, meeting them, I remember looking at them thinking, wow, you have such an amazing radiant energy. I want to get to know you. And that's exactly what happens when you become confident, because confidence becomes your calm magnetism. You're no longer seeking approval. You're simply being the woman who knows her worth. There is sovereignty and grace and magnetism in that, because your radiance is a result of your self-respect. Finally, you get to emerge as her. The adventure is becoming someone new and no longer holding on to the romanced memory of the past. You're not starting over, you're starting from experience, and that's your greatest advantage. This is where self-trust meets freedom, where you embody everything you've learned with excitement for what's next, for the possibility of what could be next. And once you start feeling that radiance within you, you emerge as her. The adventure of becoming someone new, no longer holding on to that romance version or memory of the past. You're not starting from scratch, you're starting from experience, and that's your greatest advantage. And this is where self-trust meets freedom, when you embody everything you've learned with excitement for the possibilities of what could come next. This is an era of creation, a life designed by choice and not by circumstance. This is your era of creation, a life designed by choice and not by circumstance. We've covered a lot today: heartbreak, healing, dating, rediscovery. If you felt that spark in your chest, that whisper that says, I'm ready to start again, don't ignore it. That's your truth speaking to you. Or you can keep going on, doing what you've been doing and waiting for the right time. Or you can decide that you are the right woman right now. So here's what I want you to do. Click below, join me in Dating Dames V2, and let's start this next chapter together, because this time it's not about him, it's about you, who you're becoming and the life you wish to create.